Welcome to the learning channel. Let's talk procurement. Today our learning is about the different terminologies used in the procurement. I make this video particularly for the beginners. It is important for them to have a better understanding and they will not misunderstood while they're working in any procurement or any professional procurement department. First is regulatory bodies. Those authorities or agencies in the country which are supervising or trying to regulate the activities and control the unethical processes to make sure there is a stability in the economy. So those are known as regulatory authorities. For better understanding, let's take an example like central bank, which regulates all banks, finance companies and payment service providers and the insurance companies. So Ministry of Economy regulate and do the implementation of regulation for responsible sourcing of the gold. So these kind of the bodies or the authorities in the country or the state which are controlling and supervising all the regulatory are known as the regulatory bodies. Second is capacity. In terms of procurement, the capacity is the maximum outcome, the profitability in terms of the product or services given or provided which generate the maximum benefit or revenue for the company is known as capacity. So capacity is the maximum level of output that a company can sustain to make a product or the provider services to the service receiver, to the buyer. Target cost. The expected cost of making a product or delivering the services, that is known as the target cost. Total cost of ownership. The sum of all the costs of acquiring, using maintenance and disposing of any asset over its expected lifetime cycle, known as the TCO. Benchmark price. So the price which you paid in the previous order. Let's say you want to buy some product from your supplier, agreed supplier, or you have the agreement with the supplier and you negotiated some prices and you got some discount. So that price which you purchased in the past, it is known as your benchmark price. The sequence of steps in the project plan that together determine the shortest time to complete the project is called the critical path. Example, to complete the project there is a adequate project planning, as complete mapping process or series of steps. Project stakeholders determine the shortest time or choose the steps to complete the project is called the critical path. Business requirement. The activity that meet the need of or provide value to the business, known as the business requirement. For example, procurement department designed the SOP to control and monitor the process and enhance the efficiency so that the business achieve the maximum outcome, that is known as the business requirement. Supply market. This is the market in which supplier conduct business is known as the supply market. For example, the Unilever, they are supplying the product in different countries or different Pacific. So they are supplying the product in UAE. So this market for them is a supply market. So they are supplying all the product there. Specification. This is known as the detailed description of the requirement or the demand of the product is known as the specification. To process any purchasing, this is the basic requirement for any organization. Before they are going to procure the product, they must know the specification, and procurement department will proceed the order once they have the specification of the product. Invitation to tender. This is a written invitation from supplier to submit the bidding, participating in the tender. So buyer required in order to select the best offer and award the contract to the purchasers. So this is known as the invitation to the tender. Corporate goals. Target set by any organization or company that will achieve the organization mission or objective. It is known as the corporate goals. Approved supplier list. A supplier who has the capacity to meet the requirement and capable to provide the services. There are some criteria to approve the supplier to ensure that services and supplier will not disrupt it in the future. Calloff. The purchase of any item using a framework agreement that has already been through a procurement process is known as Calloff. Framework agreement. An agreement that sets out the terms and conditions under which a call-off can be made is known as a framework agreement. Volume discount. The reduction in the usual price when a minimum quantity is ordered or a bulk quantity, that is known as a volume discount or bulk discount. For example, usually buying one box or two box of any product, but when you're going to buy the 100 boxes, so you request for the discount on it, which is the usual reduction in the usual price. So this is known as the bulk discount or the volume discount. Criteria: principle or standard used to judge or deciding something is known as the criteria. For example, you have to approve the supplier and add in your list. There is a certain criteria set by the organization to fulfill prior processing the exchange of the business. This is known as the criteria. Performance measure: the standard, targets and metrics used to collect and analyze information on the performance of an individual or the contract is known as the performance measurement. Sourcing strategy: a plan for creating any advantage by continuously reviewing the current needs against the purchasing opportunities is known as the sourcing strategy. What is sourcing? Sourcing means that you are going to acquire product through different suppliers. You will inquire it and you will try to get the best price and the best quality and the best quantity and on best time. So the such plan or the strategy which has been designed to get the maximum advantages to procure the product and to meet your current needs, that is known as the sourcing strategy. For example, the face masks and disinfection product which was utilized as an opportunity during COVID-19 and buying of wheat during the current war in the globe also create the opportunity for many countries to buy the product at lowest cost. So these are the opportunities which they are going to source a product from different areas or different state or countries. This will help them to make the strategy a better strategy, help to source the product at the lowest cost. Requisition: this is the internal documents of any organization or any facility used by the users or the store to communicate with the procurement department to buy the product or services, and this is known as the requisition. For example, that in the hospital when the nurses or OT in charge use some product, so they will create the requisition in case if we need the replacement or replenishment of the product, and this requisition will go to the procurement department to do the analysis either this product is required or not. So on basis of that, the requisition will be proceeded. Purchase order: this is a commercial document issued by the buyer to a seller, and it's a kind of the confirmation of the goods or services required together with the quantity and specification needed. This is a commercial document issued by the buyer to sellers, sort of the confirmation to the supplier that is going to buy this product or services from them on the agreed price or agreed express terms and conditions which were mentioned in their contract. I hope that these terminologies will help you to show off as a professional in the organization. More learning, please keep in touch with my channel. Thank you.